Good evening, good evening. Before I go any further, Ibrahim Douglas, what a hero. And Sunny Leong. I don't know where you're sitting, Sunny. Thanks to the two of you. Thank you very much. I've had the privilege of working with both of them over the years. Now, I just want you to think back to where you were 2 years ago. 2 years ago, this time, there was an election. 2 years ago, this time, we didn't know what was happening with Brexit. Now, think back to where you were a year ago. Another lockdown. When's this going to end? When's this nightmare going to end? And another lockdown. And now here we are, 2 years later, having lived through a nightmare through all our businesses. We have gone through hell, as Ibrahim has said. But look at the way businesses have behaved. My business, Cobra Beer, we supply 7,000 restaurants. They were shut during most of this time. And in spite of that, hundreds of them, thousands of them, prepared free meals and took them to their local hospitals and delivered them free of charge. Ibrahim was one of those, leading from the front. The British Asian Trust, Prince Charles's charity for South Asia, they said, let's do a big curry night in. My team at Cobra said, we'll do 10 nights in. And the restaurants opened up. We set up a site, hundreds of restaurants, tens of thousands of pounds raised for COVID victims in South Asia. That's the spirit of SMEs in this country. And I was born and brought up in India. And in India, they don't say SMEs, by the way. They say MSMEs, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. And many SMEs are tiny, just 2 people. I started Cobra with just 2 people. And we went from an M to an S to an M, and now we've got a joint venture with one of the biggest brewers in the world. So I've been through that growth journey. In May, as president of the CBI, the Confederation of British Industry, which I'm proud to be, by the way, I'm the first ethnic minority president in the history of the CBI. And I've set up an initiative called Change the Race Ratio. Please look it up, Change the Race Ratio, sign up to it. It's diversity and inclusion, ethnicity pay gap. There should be no ethnicity pay gap. Let's eliminate it. Sign up to it. So in May, I was chairing the B7 before the G7, and Geeta Gopinath, the chief economist of the IMF, said, Britain, you're going to have a great recovery, bounce back, £400 billion spent on the rescuing of businesses, and you'll be fine, and a vaccination program that's world-leading. Well, what have we had since May? Fuel crisis, energy crisis, labor shortage, pandemic, inflation, maybe interest rates going up. That's what we've had. And on top of that, taxes. I said to Rishi Sunak, Indian origin chancellor, Rishi, do not increase taxes. Businesses have suffered enough. Don't stifle the recovery. Instead, what do we have? Taxes going up, 19 to 25% corporation taxes, looking at us. Dividend tax, thresholds frozen. National insurance is not 1.25%, it's 2.5%, employers and employees. The highest tax burden in 70 years, as Ibrahim has just told you, and the highest public spending in 40 years. So I am very worried this is a fragile recovery. And finally, before I conclude, let's not forget what we fought for over the last 18 months. The furlough scheme. Do you remember the bounce back loans? The government refused to guarantee 100%, and I said, unless you guarantee 100%, the money will not flow through. They finally listened, and over 1 million businesses have received those bounce back loans. It saved millions of businesses. So eventually, government did listen. 2 meter to 1 meter. VAT going down from 20% to 5%. It's now back up to 12.5%. Government, please keep it at 12.5% and don't raise it. So, government and business working together more than ever, a critical recovery. Let's invest. Let's get the government to invest because we need growth. Because the growth that creates the jobs, that pays the taxes, that'll pay down the debt. And business rates that Ibrahim Douglas spoke about, do you know? Business rates here, Germany, were 4 times higher than Germany, 3 times higher than the OECD average. Come on, let's reform business rates now. And I believe we're through this pandemic. We've beaten this pandemic. We've got the vaccines. We've got the lateral flow tests. Who's heard of the Pfizer tablets? 89% saving of hospitalizations and deaths. That's the future. We can beat this virus. And finally, I don't want to conclude without COP26. The big difference, I've been in Glasgow all week, last week, and I'm going back. The big difference between COP26 now and before is business is at the heart of this issue now. Business believes in it. We all believe in it. There are no more skeptics. As Mahatma Gandhi said, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits form your character, and your character determines your destiny. So we are all believers, and we've got to fight this climate change. Business is in there. Have a great evening. Congratulations to SME for Labour, and all the best to all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.